everybody, I'm LeoRock and today I'm going to talk about Queen. Queen were founded in 1970 in London and they're one of the biggest stadium rock bands. They sold 300 million records, so that's really a lot. And now I'm here in Montreux, Switzerland, because Montreux is really connected to Queen and to Freddie Mercury. In fact, there is the statue of Freddie Mercury. Now I'm here beside the Freddie Mercury statue. You know the song We Are the Champions because it's really well known and it's made from Queen. No, we are the champions, my friend. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm not a really great singer, but Freddie Mercury is a great singer. Freddie Mercury is the best singer in the world, or one of the best singers in the world. His real name is Farrokh Bulsara and he designed the Queen logo. Brian May is an astrophysics professor, and he uses a homemade guitar. He made his guitar with his father in his house, with the wood of his house. He called his guitar Red Special because it's red and it's a special guitar, or at least I think he calls it because of that. Roger Meadows Taylor is a multi-instrumentalist and he's written a lot of songs for Queen. John Deacon is a retired bass player and now works on the economic part of Queen because he doesn't want to go on tour or on concert with Queen. One of the most famous songs of Queen is Bohemian Rhapsody. Freddie Mercury plays the piano really well in that song. No mama, just kill the man. Under Pressure, they record Under Pressure here in Montreux, in their studio with David Bowie. And Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And the success of Queen was also reached thanks to their long-time manager, Jim Beach. Yesterday, Jim Beach told me the first meeting, how they met.
And you're the youngest interviewer I've ever spoken to. And we met in my office in London, and in those days I was a lawyer, and they came to speak to me to see how they could get out of the management contract that they had, and that's how we met. And Freddie had black nail varnish on one hand, and he walked into my office and he said, "We've just recorded our third album and our manager's just brought his second Rolls Royce and we're on £60 a week, so something's wrong." And so I started work trying to get them out of their contract.
Another important meeting was between Freddie Mercury and Peter Freestone, also known as Phoebe. Peter Freestone is the personal assistant of Freddie Mercury. Yesterday I interviewed Peter Freestone and he told me how they met.
The first time I actually met him was in 1979 in October, when he was performing with the Royal Ballet where I worked in a big gala, and I spoke to him afterwards saying how wonderful the show was. And he said, "No, thank you very much, it's been a real pleasure." And he asked what I did with the Royal Ballet, because he said, "I've seen you at the rehearsals, so just what do you do?" And I used to look after the stage costumes. And that was the end of the conversation. Then, after 2 weeks, someone from Queen office rang up my boss to ask would I work for Queen with the stage costumes for the next tour that was coming up. And that's how it all started.
Okay, so you were happy to work with him?
I didn't know if it was the right thing to do or not, because I didn't know who Queen was. I knew Killer Queen, I knew Seven Seas of Rhye, I knew Bohemian Rhapsody, but that was it. I used to work in the classical music side, so I didn't know the rock section. So I thought, should I, shouldn't I? And then I thought, why not?
Freddie had a lot of shame for his teeth, but he didn't want to change that, so Phoebe is going to tell me that.
Freddie, when he laughs, he covers his lips, uses his lip to cover his teeth, or his hand. At home, he could just throw his head back and laugh and not care, because he hated his teeth, he hated what they looked like. But to see, Freddie had a wonderful sense of humour. He loved laughing. And so, for me, that's the image that always stays, is Freddie laughing.
Queen are very gentile and funny, like Brian May. So Gregg is the archivist of Queen, is going to tell me a story, a funny story.
I remember once working late at the studio with Brian, working on some tapes. And do you know what Marmite is? You know?
Okay.
And it's very strong. You either like it a lot or you hate it. And Brian likes it and I like it. And we were working late and he said, should we have something to eat? I said, yeah, that'd be nice. And he said, I've got some toast. And the only thing he could find was Marmite. And he put it on, but he put it on very thick. That thick. And it is impossible to eat it. So I bit into mine and I pretended to enjoy it, and then he bit into his and he said, oh dear, I've put too much. So it was funny at the time. No, it's just little things like that. When I was a fan, when I was your age, I was a fan of Queen, and I never imagined that one day I would be having toast and Marmite with Brian and him putting it on an inch thick.
John Deacon, nowadays, John Deacon is retired and no one is happy. I'm not happy too.
John hasn't really played since about 1994. The last time that John played with Brian and Roger was on stage at the National Theatre in Paris, where we did The Show Must Go On with Elton John, and John was on bass, and that was the last time he performed. And he's chosen to retire, and that's fine. We keep in touch and he knows what's happening, and he still is the director of Queen Productions and everything, but he just doesn't want to play or be involved in the promotion.
So here Justin Shirley, the co-producer of Queen, will tell me that he is not happy, so that he wants him to come back. So you can hear him say that. And what do you think about John Deacon retirement?
I wish he wouldn't. I wish he'd come back and play bass, because he's the best bass player. That's for sure.
He says, he even says that Adam Lambert is a great singer, that he has really, really high vocals, that he is really, really great, but he said he is not going to replace Freddie. What do you think about his singing and him in general?
He's an incredible singer. I've never heard a singer like him. He's got a range far, I mean, I think he's probably got a range bigger than Freddie. He sings higher notes, but he's not, you know, he's not going to replace Freddie, of course. No one ever thinks that.
Queen are really amazing, as you heard, and I hope you learned something from this video. Bye from LeoRock.